Absolutely. We're going to have to drive pretty soon, too.
Time's flying.
5:29. I think they've been working on it. Okay, it is 5:30. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Community Development, Economic Development, Parks and Recreation Committee meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and if you could do the roll call, Stacy.
Mrs. DiGiacomo,
Here.
Mrs. Mills,
Here.
Ms. Holman,
Present.
Mr. Timonier.
Here.
And I want to welcome our guest speaker tonight, Kelly Sposito from NeoFund, and I'm going to let you take it away.
Well, thank you. I don't see too many familiar faces in here tonight, so I'm glad to meet all of you tonight. I have a fancy title, Executive Director of the NEO Fund, but I really help everybody at the ground level with small business and startup businesses in Ashtabula County. I have humble beginnings on Bridge Street with the Harbor Perk. I owned and operated that for 16 years alongside my late husband, Jake. If you guys have ever been in there, it's still the same, and it's functioning with my old managers who bought it from me a few years ago. So I'm retired, but I still have a full-time job now serving the community for a nonprofit called the NEO Fund. We've been around in some shape or form for about 18 years. Incubated and started on Bridge Street sort of on accident. And I have a 30-slide presentation that we made about in April of 2025. I'm going to go through some of the slides that I think are relevant tonight. I'm not going to take you through all 30, but I want to show you the humble beginnings of a little bit of what we consider our piece of economic development in Ashtabula County and what we continue to do for entrepreneurs and small business today, 16, 18 years later. And I just realized that's an old picture of me on the top next to my coffee roaster. It seems like a lifetime ago. I forgot all about that. The Liftbridge Community Association, just like our downtown association here, started for specific reasons. Liftbridge started when that lift bridge got stuck up and all the traffic got stopped. That was about 2008. The Harbor Perk was brand new. There were a few businesses down there and some of the old tried and trues that were struggling because the traffic was stopped. We formed the Liftbridge Association and NEO Fund, which wasn't called that back then. It was just a group of us getting together to figure out marketing strategies, business strategies to get people to come back down to the harbor, even though it was really hard to get in and out of there. And it wasn't always the nicest place to go to. It seems like it's really bougie now, but back in the day, it was not at all. So I'm just going to go through. Obviously, we have Ren and Tony, who are some of the pioneers down there. No, it's the same photos up here on the screen, too. I'm just referencing here. I just wanted to show you some of the accomplishments that we did. I'm not going to read all of these slides to you. Obviously, with Wine and Walleye, Beach Glass Festival, we had other little humble beginnings there. We had merchant meetings upstairs where Andre LaSalle's office was, and it was just a bunch of us getting together and sharing ideas and business strategies. No formal anything, no formal funding, training, or anything back in the day. It was just a bunch of us in Ashtabula trying to figure out what to do to stay alive as small businesses. So in those very early days, I mean, those were the pioneers and some of the survivors. The bars were there, Doxy Deli, obviously Goodwill's been there. You can see some of the places have come and gone since then. The Perk's still there. But you know, we had 14 or 15 businesses in that first couple of years that we were all just kind of quietly supporting each other and forming what is now the LBCA and what is now the NEO Fund. Beach Glass Festival, obviously, Wine and Walleye, Lights on the Lake, and the Lift Bridge got lit at that time. So those were some initiatives that we did collaboratively to attract attention to the harbor. Lending and funding is a big part of economic development, as you guys all know. Startups and small business have a really hard time getting that. But those terms that get thrown around a lot that you guys hear, economic gardening, economic development, it's everything. It's planting the seeds to pulling the weeds. So writing business plans, one-on-one mentoring, finding capital, sources of non-traditional capital, partnering with building owners who had incentives to get businesses in. You know, some of those early people down there on Bridge Street were just saving the buildings, putting tarps on the roof, figuring out how to get them to not be rotten. Andover Bank did some early funding for NeoFund to get some outreach programs going with their CRA money. And we had some early developers saving those buildings and fixing them up. So there was a lot of collaboration and planning going on without being completely 100% organized. So that was kind of some of our early times. There's a picture of my late husband, Jake, and there's Tim. So these are some of the people that were down and around Bridge Street in the early days. And this is how NeoFund started, with little humble classes upstairs in Andre's office. So pretty neat little thing. We probably had 20 or 30 people showing up every week to talk about business. Raw and unfiltered stuff sometimes, so it was pretty interesting. I'm gonna flip here to 2010 to 2018. So another 8 years and another, 15 new businesses. So that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of stumbling. No one always succeeds. Not all businesses stay. But showing you guys this is that this was 17 or 18 years in the making. Love to drive down Bridge Street now. Everybody complains that it's so busy and you can't find any place to park. Good, because you used to be able to do cartwheels down there, you know. But it did take a lot of time and a lot of people and a lot of collaborations. I'm sure you guys have been to some of these businesses down there, have gone to some of the events. The farmers market every Sunday now is kind of outgrowing its space. It's getting so big. So that humble beginnings of everybody just kind of bumping their heads together formed some really cool organizations that are really focused now. I don't know what I just did. There we go. And then in the last few years is another ripple effect. Those are all new businesses from 2019 on Bridge Street. So that's another that took another 5 years. So this is a long time of trudging through things, and now it's full. Now we have Riverbend Hotel. Now we have all these events. These are from last year, but there's the same and more for 2026. Beach Glass Festival, Wine and Walleye, and kind of where I want to land with you guys today is what we do here. I have a little office off of West 46 across the bridge behind the chamber. It's just me and a couple of people in there, and we try to find one-on-one mentors. We have bookkeeping classes, we have business classes, we have So You Think You Want to Start a Business classes, we have advanced business classes. These are all free of charge. All that the people have to do is participate and want to grow and change their business. We have a partner micro lender. We have more than 77 loans in Ashtabula County to small businesses and startups. We have a loan broker that goes out and finds non-traditional lending for people who don't quite yet qualify to get a Huntington Bank or Andover Bank loan. We partnered with 503, Erie Bank and Andover Bank, the small banks around here, know what NeoFund does and how we sort of incubated Bridge Street alongside with everyone. So they're a little bit more willing with the startups and the small business to give them some capital or some line of credits. They know that they have good people behind us. We work with the city alongside, making sure that our small businesses are doing all their zoning and all the things properly, that they have to be a good steward to the city and to their own business. And all of that is what we want. We want stability. Today, there's over 10 business owners that also own their buildings on Bridge Street. So they really have a stake in the game of keeping the street clean, keeping their buildings nice. It's not easy. They're always pulling weeds. I'm a harbor rat, right, but now I'm on Main Avenue, and I don't know very much about it, but I'm learning alongside of everyone. As you guys know about the initiatives with the city is, the corridor of Lake Avenue to Main Ave from Bridge Street is just natural. What we've done on Bridge Street, we can do here. A little bit different climate on Main, and, you know, we'll learn along with our partners, how Main Avenue grows and changes. Oh my God, there's another awful picture of me. But there is, I left some flyers in the back for all of our courses that are offered throughout the year. We also have monthly networking meetings all over the county. We go and visit different businesses, learn about them, have guest speakers, and then small business owners or the old tribal knowledge business owners like to come and offer their support too. And then we have people who think they want to start a business that are just trying to meet people and learn the language of how it is to do business in Ashtabula. We have 30 or 40 people every month that show up, and you guys are all invited. And if you take those flyers and email me, I'll definitely get you on the list, because it's free and it's always fun, and you at least learn something and meet someone, and you get to know what's going on in and around the county and our little piece of the economic development pie. And there's some funny slides on here. The people at my office made this presentation, and it's in somebody else's voice, but some of the things ring true. Is everyone's included, so we meet everybody where they're at. The city's willing to work with everyone. We try to find funding. We try to get people's personal finances cleaned up so they can get funding. Like, sometimes we have to do the whole gamut. Sometimes we succeed and fail. Businesses fail and succeed. That's just the way of the world. Obviously, research, modify, and keep planning. And the best thing about Bridge Street is that I could go on 30, 40, 50 slides about how everyone pitched in, but nobody wants to claim to be the one. It was everyone. And so I think that just the climate that we have here, especially with the city being so business friendly, that we can do all of that all the way up Main Avenue and beyond. So look at this: stay humble, plan, measure, modify, and remember that we're all just bozos on the bus. I wish I could take claims for writing that, but it's that none of us are perfect, and we're all trying in Ashtabula, and the fact that you guys all show up here and want to know what's going on is amazing, and that you guys show up to my events, and I think that's hysterical. I didn't even know that was on there. And then I don't know if I can pull up my NeoFund website on here, Stace. Is there a way I can get it up here? Jim can take care of that.
What is it?
Neofund.org. If you guys go peruse around here, if you know of anybody that needs help with their business or needs help with certain parts, pricing, they need capital, they want to get everything in line so they can go to a bank and ask for funding, because you still need the business plans and the projections and all the stuff that nobody wants to do. We're really good at getting people all organized for that. Just scroll down, just so I can show a little bit of, at the bottom, keep going, there's some photos of some folks that you guys know. Keep going down. At the bottom there's right where those dates are. So there's a scrolling list of all the events that we have coming up and where they are, and usually a link of how to register. They're free. We just like to get a head count, because we usually have some kind of a snack, and just kind of know who's coming. But usually some kind of a guest speaker in certain area aspect of business, so you can always check it out and see if it's something of interest for you, or forward it to somebody that you know might be interested. So I think I took up my allotted 15 minutes. Does anybody have any particular questions? I know I talk fast and I went through a lot of information. Yes, my dear.
I see you didn't mention the North End Club in the harbor. It's been there since 1930.
You know what? And I will tell you that there's a disclaimer at the bottom of most of those slides that says include, we didn't try to leave anybody out. It was just, yeah, absolutely. And they might be included in that one slide that says neighbors and friends that are up the sides of the streets, you know. And so, yeah, no one tried to get left out. It was just sort of a nice thing to say, everybody's kind of playing their part. I mean, they keep their place immaculate, you know, I mean, it's just a nice little gem. If everyone is a steward of their own business and their own property, then we wouldn't have anything to
We
worry
gave
about.
the hill for the high school.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's just a nice little gem to come down Bridge Street and see, so.
So I don't have a question, but I do have a comment or two. So when I first came on council, I did go through the Neo Fund class, just for my own edification. But my husband went through the Neo Fund class and opened up a business as a result. And it's a wonderful networking organization. And I sold my salon because of Neo Fund. They helped the new owner get money. So thank you for my retirement.
Well, and you know what, you know, we don't, that's probably why you saw me getting hot up here, is that we don't toot our horn a lot, because that's not what it's about, right? It's not about like, look what we did. You know, even going through that, sometimes it feels like, we should be proud of all the stuff that we've done quietly over the years. And I mean, it's part of the requirements to get funding is, do you have all your business planning? Do you have all your financing? Like, everybody needs that baseline, and some of it's overwhelming for people to do on their own, or look at those, you know, bank applications and go, what do you mean I need 2 years of projections? I don't know how to do that. And so we try to make it really meet everybody where they're at, and what are your goals? What do you want to sell? You want to buy something? You want a business? You don't care what it is? We try to kind of fit. We don't want to see any businesses close in Ashtabula.
Right.
So a lot of people are starting to retire and want to move to Florida and stuff. Good for them. But then there's opportunity for young entrepreneurs who might have all the grit and the wherewithal, but they might not have all the capital, and they might not know industry specific. So finding mentors and partners and any kind of collaborations for any kind of education. We do a lot with Kent, do a lot with ATEC, trying to get the young people involved, and they're very entrepreneurial. So people are selling stuff online and Facebook and TikTok. People have businesses that don't even have a brick and mortar, but they still require capital and business planning and stuff. So you just gotta get with the times and grow. And so it's cool to be able to grow with Ashtabula, and to go through that and realize that it was, you know, 17 or 18 years in the making makes me feel makes me feel like I'm getting old, but it's awesome to see, and so thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming. And thank you for what you do for Ashtabula.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you guys, please take something and pass it along back there. I'm gonna leave you to your meeting now. And call me or email me if you have anything specific, and we can talk privately. Thanks,
All right.
thanks, ladies.
Thanks,
Jen.
Kelly.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So next we have the city manager report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So a couple things to note. We had discussed about bringing a planning and community development department report kind of to this committee, just talking about our code enforcement activities for the month. Since we didn't have a meeting in January, these stats will be from January 1st to February 28th. During this time period, the two employees that we have, one being a housing inspector, one being a code enforcement officer, issued a total of 89 code enforcement letters and/or door hangers. There were 59 rental units scheduled for inspection. Now, that doesn't mean that all 59 happen. There sometimes are some times where people have to cancel their appointments and then they're made up, but we had 59 scheduled. And then we had 13 either tenants or landlords call us and request for rental inspections that we went out and completed that were outside of that scheduled time. Some of the 89 letters and or door hangers are a result of the rental inspections that we do, but most of the time those enforcement letters come from complaints from neighbors or community members, or from our drive-bys seeing different areas that we have to do code enforcement in. Happy to report we are moving ahead, as of Monday, council did pass the ordinance to do the subrecipient grant agreement for the Appalachian Community Grant Program for Main Avenue. Staff has been working with the merchants, the business owners and building owners on Main Avenue who wanted to participate in the facade program. It looks like we have 6 participants ready to go right now that will be putting bids out. They will be putting bids out so that we can start doing construction for those 6. The different companies are working with those building owners and business owners on different parts of their projects so that we can get them ready to also bid out as well. We do have a pre-construction meeting next week with the contractor that's going to be doing all the sidewalks. So we will hopefully have some details for all of Main Avenue as of when construction is going to start, what timelines are going to look like, and different things like that we can report back to the Main Avenue businesses and building owners. Most of you know also GoBus has started operating this month. We don't have any data from them yet, but they have been showing up twice a day on Bridge Street as the pickup point right in front of the new parking lot. I do encourage everybody who is interested in that kind of travel to visit their website. They even run specials every once in a while, discounted specials for their trips. Very, very affordable. From here, there's a stop in Paynesville, and there's also a stop just outside of the airport in Cleveland at a big park and ride parking lot, which then you can jump on RTA, or you can jump on another GoBus, or use their local transportation to get different places in Cleveland as well. But GoBus runs all over Ohio and also has connectors into Pennsylvania as well. So really neat option if you're looking for some day trips or overnight trips into different areas. We do have another visit coming up from representatives from Victory Cruise Line. It looks like we're like 99% there right now that we will be added as a stop for the cruise ship in 2028, with the possibility of becoming what they call a can stop in either by the end of this year and into next year. And what can stops are is basically we have itinerary ready for them if the boat were to pull up. Sometimes things happen on the Great Lakes with weather, with emergencies, with things with the boat. That would be a situation where they would just call us and say, hey, we need to come in and dock and make repairs or have something take care of, and we would then initiate what we need to do. So the Convention and Visitors Bureau is heavily involved in it. Lethbridge Community Association also is heavily involved in this. So looking forward to their visit again here this month. And then lastly, I think I mentioned this at either our last meeting here or at a council meeting. I've been meeting with representatives from Amtrak. Sorry, not from Amtrak, but from All Aboard Ohio, who are working with Amtrak to get another stop and another line put in. There have been some mentions in the infrastructure part of the, what they call the Big Beautiful Bill, where it mentions different transportation options such as Amtrak, where there would be funding available. So we feel that this is a great time to reinvigorate the conversation for that. One of the representatives would like to present at this meeting at a future date. It looks like sometime in June, July, possibly August is when we will start having to write letters to our congressmen and representatives at the federal level asking for support for this. But we're kind of setting everything up now to be ready for that when those requests come in for this. So we can work with Stacy to determine when would be a next open date, and I'll get in touch with them for you. It is going to be a busy spring and summer. We're actually bringing our night shift off as of Monday, which means I probably jinxed it and we're in for another 2 months of winter. But night shifts are going to go back on day shifts, first shift on starting Monday the 9th, which I'm hoping we can get a lot of stuff done before we have to start mowing and all of the fun stuff. We can get ready here for the spring. So got a lot of work to do coming up. It's been a interesting winter with the freeze thaw. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
I do have one. Mr. Timonier, you talked about the cruise line and an itinerary. Who's involved in creating that itinerary?
So right now, it's been representatives from the cruise line, the Ashtabula Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Lithbridge Community Association. So from what we understand from them, there's like 3 or 4 levels of things they're looking for. They're looking for like a really high-end type excursion. So they're thinking wine country. This cruise ship actually travels. They're not on the ship, but 2 big 50-passenger buses accompany the ship where it goes. So they have their own transportation. It's the very nice coach buses that come. So they would take them, maybe a wine tour is one of those. Maybe a local tour here in the community is another one. We have 3 or 4 museums right in the harbor. So it could be a tour of the museums, the Marine Museum, the Hubbard House, the Finnish Museum. That could be an excursion. And then we're trying to come up with, okay, for those people that don't want to do an excursion, can we come up with some kind of like a passport they do for downtowns and just have something fun for people that don't want to go on those excursions, just to stay within the area. So those are the people, and of course, people from our staff are also involved in the conversations. Mm-hmm.
So a part of the itinerary is actually going out through the entire county?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Manager, can I ask on that, not sure the name, is it like an Ohio Home Program for the?
Welcome Home, Ohio. Yes.
Right, for the housing?
I think we have them scheduled for next month to do a presentation here. Yeah.
Okay.
The land bank has signed all the documents we needed with the developer. They're going to be moving quickly here. I think we have to we did get an extension on time, but I think the goal is to have the first 3 houses up by May.
That's fast.
It's a 90-day, it's a 90-day order period from the time they order them to being completed. And then it's just a matter of, in that 90-day, they're doing site prep. And then it's a matter of them coming here, and I think it's within 2 to 3 days of delivery that the house is ready to be occupied.
So are they
pretty
like
interesting
that
project.
kind of like a prefab?
Yeah, so
kinda like
they're called modular homes, but they're not the modular
Okay.
homes everybody thinks of. They're
Right.
not, 2 side by side stuck together on a property. It's not that. They are, if you don't know that they're a
kit
modular
kind of a
home,
thing.
yeah, if you don't know they're a modular home, you're not gonna know it by looking at it. And they'll have pictures of what we're planning on. The first 3 houses, because of their locations in the neighborhoods, we want them to blend in with the houses, so they will be 2 stories, although they will have a first floor master bedroom. So they are designed for any person that needs it. If you have an older family and they want to have first floor access with a couple bedrooms upstairs, they'll be able to do that. We did also want garages put with them, so that's going to add a little bit of cost to these, but we felt,
Attached garages?
I think depending on the lot
Right.
determination, they'll either be attached or detached. And then there's some lots where, if you remember where the old Brad's was across the street from the new bus garage, there are 3 or 4 lots there that the land bank is trying to acquire right now. And those will be ranch-style houses on that one because they're kind of not blended into a community. They'll be on their own block there. And first-floor homes do sell a little bit better, but we didn't want a ranch home in the middle of 2 and 3-story homes at the other locations that those houses are. So we're excited about this project, and soon they will have a website open where we can start collecting people that are interested, starting to get people qualified. The company that's doing this is doing all the qualification for it, and there are requirements that go along with it. You have to income qualify. It's not a case where a person can purchase the home for the discounted rate because of the grants that are involved in it, and then turn around and sell it. It has to stay an income qualified house for a certain amount of years, and that's all dictated by the deeds. It is upon the developer and the land bank to note that. And of course, when you go to sell a home, they pull the deeds and look at all the deed restrictions that are in there. So all of that will have to be followed along the way. And the owners will have to go through financial literacy courses. We don't want to provide a home to somebody in need and then them not be able to afford it. They come complete with appliances so that people aren't running out and putting appliances on their credit cards and racking up other debt. So there's a lot that goes into this program to hopefully make a person successful in home ownership. That's
Nice.
the goal.
Can I ask where the first 3 are going to go? The
You
two-
would.
The two-story?
Yeah, I will have to get you those addresses, but
Okay.
they are all within the Lake Avenue west to Station Avenue area. They're all in those neighborhoods there.
Okay. That's exciting,
It is.
yeah.
All right. Then Tim Dibble, if you would go up to so you can present the Parks and Recreation Committee report.
Mr. Manager, Madam Chairman, members of the Economic Developmental Committee, and my fellow veterans, on February 23rd, 2026, the Ashtabula Parks and Recreation Board, acting in its advisory capacity, unanimously recommended that $12,000 in parks levy funds be allocated for the Phase 1 of Veterans and Cornelius Memorial Parks Memorial and Beautification Project. That recommendation is now before the Economic Development Committee for review and consideration prior to potential action by City Council. I am here as the Secretary of the Parks and Recreation Board, which means I drew the short straw for presenting. So, in this initiative, it focuses on 2 established memorial spaces within our park system. Ashtabula Veterans Memorial Park, which serves as the city's primary location for Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and other patriotic observances, and Lance Corporal Kevin M. Cornelius Memorial Park, which honors one of our local fallen service members. These parks are not only places of remembrance, but also highly visible public spaces used by residents, visitors, and families attending community observances throughout the year. Phase 1 consists of primarily 4 components. First, the installation of 2 granite grave-style cenotaphs matching the existing Lewis Shepard Memorial. Shepard is our Ashtabula area Medal of Honor recipient. His cenotaph is at the base of the War Memorial. The other 2 will honor Private Isaac James, who was recognized as Ashtabula's 2nd Medal of Honor recipient that we just learned about recently. He was a recipient from the Civil War. And then we have Linnell Doby Moore. He was one of Ashtabula's Montford Point Marines. And anybody that doesn't know about the Montford Point Marines, this was developed in the Second World War and a place where only blacks were trained. And it continued on in that segregation area, but it gave the African Americans the ability to train and be recognized as Marines. Linnell Moore was also recognized as a Montford Point Marine with a Congressional Gold Medal in 2012, and Mr. Moore passed away in his 90s in 2021. So I just, the board and I thought it would be a good thing to recognize Mr. Moore with that significant medal. Based on an estimate from County Commissioner and Funeral Director J.P. Ducro, each cenotaph would cost between $700 and $900, coming to a total of between $1,400 and $1,800. Second, installation of a Blue Star Memorial marker at Veterans Memorial Park. This nationally recognized cast aluminum memorial honors all who have served in the armed forces. With the required 7-foot post, the estimated cost is approximately $2,500 delivered. Third, installation of a Gold Star memorial marker at Lance Corporal Kevin M. Cornelius Memorial Park. also approximately $2,500 with the post. This marker honors the families of those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. The proposed placement is within a landscaped bed near the fountain in the park and facing West 44th Street, intentionally creating a peaceful setting and visible space where visitors can pause to reflect and remember the sacrifices represented there. These two parks serve as places of peace for our community, places where families and fellow veterans can remember those they have lost, reflect on their service, and in many ways find healing from the lasting scars of war. Fourth, a beautification partnership with the ATEC Horticulture Program. Mr. Ken Noble, who is here tonight, is the ATEC Horticulture instructor, along with his students and under the authorization of the school administration, has offered to oversee the growing and planting of flowers and plantings associated with this project. The estimated cost for this portion is between $4,000 and $5,000. The projected total Phase 1 cost range is approximately $10,400 to $11,800. The Parks and Recreation Board therefore recommended an allocation of $12,000 from the Parks Levy funds to allow this project to be completed within the range, providing a modest contingency for cost fluctuation or installation-related needs. Should minor coverages occur, the Veterans Park Trust maintains a small account that could account if necessary, although the committee and City Council ultimately retain the authority to adjust the recommended allocation if you deem appropriate. To clarify a few procedural points for the committee, the Parks and Recreation Board is an advisory board. On February 23rd, our vote does not allocate funds, but rather represents a unanimous recommendation that $12,000 in Parks Levy funds be allocated for this project. The purpose of tonight's presentation is to allow this committee to review that recommendation as part of the city's normal process before any matter proceeds to City Council for consideration. Second, this proposal is structured entirely within the Parks Levy framework approved by the voters. The recommendation before you is specifically for the allocation of levy funds within the park system for improvements to 2 established memorial parks. Third, while many local veteran organizations have expressed interest in this project, because these parks are used for community observances, this proposal is not being presented on behalf of any specific individual veterans organization. It is a recommendation of the Parks and Recreation Board concerning improvements to city park facilities. I would also like to briefly provide some context for why the Parks and Recreation Board believes this effort is timely. These parks have long served as places of remembrance for our community. The Veterans Memorial Wall was installed in 1988, creating a permanent place to recognize those who served. Nearly 2 decades later, in 2007, the Kalinowski Memorial was installed honoring Private Henry Kalinowski, who was killed aboard the USS Arizona, Ashtabula's first casualty in World War II. Then, as we all know, in 2010, following the loss of Lance Corporal Cornelius, the Battlefield Cross and Memorial Boulder were installed in his honor. 2 years ago, in 2024, at the direction of City Manager Jim Timonier, the Parks Division of Public Works completed a beautiful landscaping improvement around the memorial wall and the war memorial, including the installation of river rock and additional landscaping beautification. However, when we look at the timeline of major additions, 1988, 2007, 2010, and then landscaping in 2024, it becomes clear that significant improvements to these parks have occurred only periodically over several decades. The Parks and Recreation Board believes the time is right to bring renewed life and vibrancy to these memorial spaces. As we approach America's 250th anniversary, this project represents opportunity not only to honor our veterans, but also to ensure these parks remain welcoming places for reflection, remembrance, and community gathering. These spaces should feel alive, places where citizens can pause, reflect, and connect with the history and sacrifices they represent. This project also complements the city's ongoing investments and infrastructure improvements and the downtown facade program. As the city continues to enhance streets, public spaces, and building fronts, sorry, I have an eye problem, throughout the downtown corridor, improving these two memorial parks helps ensure that our civic gathering spaces reflect the same level of care and pride. Veterans Memorial Park and Lance Corporal Kevin M. Cornelius Memorial Park are important community landmarks. Enhancing them supports the broader effort to strengthen the appearance and experience of our downtown area. These parks are also situated in an area frequently visited by residents and guests traveling through our downtown, which kind of goes with what the last lady just presented, and our harbor districts. Visitors moving between Bridge Street and Walnut Beach and the waterfront often pass through or near these memorial spaces. Enhancing the appearance and atmosphere of these parks helps ensure these highly visible community landmarks, reflecting the pride and history of Ashtabula. With respect to timeline, the proposal is that the two granite cenotaphs be fabricated and installed, and the ATEC plantings be completed in time for Memorial Day observances, May 25th, 2026. The blue and gold star memorial markers have an anticipated fabrication and delivery time frame of approximately 6 to 9 months, once ordered and approved through the national process. Upon delivery, installation will be scheduled promptly and a formal dedication ceremony coordinated thereafter. This phased approach allows visible progress by Memorial Day 2026, while responsibly accounting for national production timelines associated with the memorial markers. These improvements represent a modest investment that will significantly enhance the appearance and dignity of public experience of two important civil memorial parks. For these reasons, we respectfully request the support of the Economic Development Committee in advancing the Parks and Recreation Board's recommendation for the allocation of $12,000 in Parks Levy funds to City Council for final consideration. I welcome any questions you may have.
Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
I do.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I want to thank you. This is a lot of thought and a lot of work that went into this. This sounds absolutely amazing. And I mean, I'm totally on board. But what I wanted to ask was, I wasn't sure on the flowers, is that flowers going to be between the two parks?
Yes.
Is that how that is? Okay.
So what Mr. Noble's students have proposed amazingly, we made a visit out to the VOED. Ken, would you like to speak? Or are you able?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You got to speak into the mic so she can record it.
I appreciate this opportunity to represent ATEC and the Environmental Natural Resources Program. Yes, Mr. Tim Dibble presented this idea. We have, on multiple other occasions, grown flowers, provided them for the VFW. We put in some perennial flowers down at the Hubbard House, and so we are active in our community and trying to support the beautification, right? It's a win-win when the students have vested interest in where these flowers are going, not just to be sold or in the marketplace, but that they can actually then drive down and say, you know, I probably helped plant those geraniums or those flowers. And so we have come up with a couple of patriotic themed gardens, landscape, particularly like for the Kalinowski Memorial, where Marine Corps, we can do reds and golds and have some canna lilies and different things like that that are red and yellow, and just really signify the honor of the Marine Corps and honor the veterans with red, white, and blue, going along with our patriotic anniversary as well. So hopefully that answers what you're thinking. But yes, we are fully vested into trying to help beautify our community and give our students an opportunity to put some elbow grease, get some dirt under the fingernails, and show their work in and around our community.
And I believe with that, a little bit more detail, thank you, Ken. We're talking about doing some forget-me-nots that represent the disabled American veterans, poppies that recognize or relate to the American Legion and VFW. So there will be interrelated meanings in some of these plantings. Where our bugler usually plays for ceremonies under that large tree, one of his students brilliantly came up with a design of flowers in the shape of USA. Another couple of his students in our memorial that faces West 44th that says, "To all Ashtabula veterans who served," they will be planting a bed of flowers in the form of an American flag. And to
getting
meet with these,
goosebumps.
yeah. And so to meet with these students, I wish you all could have been there because these kids were excited to meet with us and give us their presentation. And then when they saw that we enjoyed them, that excited them even more. My brother is the deputy sheriff, school resource officer out there, and he said that kids were coming up to him for the next couple days. "Hey, guess what we're going to do in the city park?" So it was well received.
Thank you. So do we need to make a motion to move this forward?
But before, can I make a
Yep,
comment?
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I will say that I've been out to ATEC and to the greenhouses, and it's just incredible at all the foliage and all different varieties. It's just truly amazing.
I think our parks need to be brought to life.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm wondering, since you talked about certain types of plantings of plants or flowers and
Yes.
some of the sentiment or the meaning behind it, is it too much to ask that maybe a little small placard naming the plant and some of the representation?
Signage is certainly doable. We could again, reach out to our partnering programs at ATEC. We could find out about some laser etching. Maybe there could be, whether it's metallized or plasticized, right, where we can router or laser cut some significance, so they wouldn't be just something that would fade with the season, that they could be there long-term, and the investment of your, the investment of the funds would have a long-lasting, and even though the flowers would have to be replanted, all of which we are proposing right now, all of these flowers would be annuals, so winter would take them out, but, and again, long-term, you guys can decide what happens. Right now, we're committing to this year and this season to trying to beautify these two parks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Not that, other parts of the report I do, but you want to save that till later?
No, you can ask now.
No? Okay. I just want to make a couple other questions and comments. I see that on page 7 of 8, or your number is 6. You talked about the West 38th Street Park, and when we were, out there getting things set up,
Yes, ma'am.
someone did mention the fence improvements are necessary. Is there any update around
So
that?
with the West 38th Street Park, the Public Works Department partnering with INEOS, I believe everything has been completed, everything is installed, including the rubberized mulch. So the items that remained have been repainted and restored, and the new seesaw, teeter-totter type thing, it's much smaller, safer, it doesn't swing 8-10 feet in the air anymore, and the swings now have a rubberized mulch bed, so if children fall off these objects, they should, be safer at least.
Yes, yes. And is there any update on the fence?
As far as the fence, we have to talk more with Public Works and the city manager, but that has been discussed.
Okay. And finally, I just want to say that I did have an opportunity to take a look at both your governance and bylaws and your orientation packet, and I found them to be impressive. They're clear, they're thorough, informative, and actionable. So thank you for that, and I would
Very
like to
good.
see some other boards mimic or replicate some of
Absolutely.
that language. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, the city manager stated that he wanted, more guidance for the board and whatnot, so I took the initiative, I put these things together, and I've researched advisory boards and went from there.
Yes, well
So,
done.
actually, it's thanks to him.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Tim, I just wanted to ask you, so for the East 48th Street Park, isn't that the jurisdiction of the railroad, but we maintain it?
The property is owned by the railroad, and then we have a lease for the property.
Sort of like a forever kind of?
Well, they try to change the
Did they make,
amount that we pay. So one year I said, okay, well, you can take it back, and you're probably gonna wanna do this, 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 and then they sent it back and said you can pay the same amount you have been paying, so. Yeah, I don't see that going away, but now, there is this merger between Norfolk Southern and UP, Union Pacific, so what happens with these properties going forward is gonna be interesting.
gotcha, okay.
That's why, that's part of the reason we haven't invested any money in the 48th Street Park, and it's not well attended.
Right, right. Kind of neighborhoods change and,
Sure.
things, and then, homes sell.
People
and
move
then
away.
young people come in or whatever, kind of, it goes through the cycle. Yeah. Thank you, though. Great minutes. You guys did a lot. So do we need to?
Mr. Giacomo,
Yeah.
to go back to your question about, do you need a motion? So looking at this, there's gonna be a lot of different pieces to this, none of which I think together are gonna total over $10,000, which would require council approval. However, I think it would be prudent on this committee to bring it to council, at least of some kind of vote of support of this project, and then we'll move forward on it.
So how would I make that motion?
The committee supports the recommendations of the park board, and looking for support from full council. And that could just be, I don't know if you need to do ordinances and stuff, but,
Okay. So I will make the motion that this,
to make it to,
Yeah,
that
to
the
take it to
committees
council.
to bring it to council,
so
yeah.
I will make the motion that this committee supports this mission of the parks and that we will move it forward to council. May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. It's going to go to council.
Very good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, my fellow veterans, and everybody who showed up tonight. Greatly
And
appreciate it.
if you want to show up, our next council meeting is
16.
16th,
Monday.
Monday here.
Mr. Giacomo, just one question. Mr. Dibble, I am assuming that the memorial markers and the Blue Star marker and flag and Gold Star marker and flag is a set design?
Yes.
Okay, so, and are they certain companies?
Sponsored by the Garden Trails Club or a garden club.
Okay.
Already got the Garden Trails Club on board.
Okay, and is there a certain manufacturer that we have to go to for those things?
There is.
Okay.
I've got the information on that. I can forward it to you.
Okay, so just forewarn, that might be a hurdle, because technically, when we purchase things, it has to come from different sources. So if this is like a single source item, where there's ways that we can get around it. So probably the sooner we have that discussion, the better.
I'll take care of
Okay,
it tonight.
all right, thank you.
Tim,
Yes.
can I ask you, so for the blue and the Gold Star markers, if you have something like a mock picture of what that looks like, and then we could put it
I
to
do.
give to the counselors for the
Yes,
meeting?
and I will
That'd be
get
great.
those to you,
Okay.
ASAP.
Okay.
And if you want a drive-by right now, there's one in Lakeshore Park, and there's a Gold Star in front of Feed Our Vets right on Center Street.
Okay,
Thank you, Tim.
thanks.
All right.
Thank you all for coming.
Do we have any unfinished business?
Thanks, guys.
New business, do you want to present the new business city cleanup?
Well, we're working on the Ashtabula City cleanup. We're going to help make Ashta beautiful on Saturday, May 9th, 8:30 to 11:30. We're going to meet here, and we are going to clean up the city, and we're going to provide bags and gloves and have a lunch at the library after. So we're asking any groups, churches, businesses, friends, just, you can contact our clerk of council, 440-992-7119. We could always get a hold of any of us up here as well. So we're working on that, sending out emails. We're going to have a nice lunch afterwards, and that'll be the start of spring cleaning.
And Memorial Day Parade, which is the Parks Board is hosting this year, is going to be May 25th at 11 a.m. If your organization, businesses, individuals are interested in participating, please reach out to me and we'll get you a packet. Our next meeting is,
April 1st.
it's what?
April 1st.
It's April Fool's Day? Oh my goodness.
Is that a joke? I'm just kidding.
It's going to be April 1st, and Welcome Home Ohio is going to be our guest. And I think that's everything.